countdown has started. The grand finals. Oh, this is exciting. So they both earned $45 by getting to the finals, and now there's another $30 at stake for the winner, totaling $75. So at least both of them have earned this day's dinner.
Very true. Today's takeout. Or actually, in England, restaurants are back open, but only outside.
Oh, in Sweden, they never really closed. They were just
true.
limited.
Yeah, Sweden had an interesting approach.
Yeah. Ooh. There we go. So, we're in the game, and in the top left, we have our blue Zerg, ranked Platinum 2, LeeFunnn.
And she's only been playing for just a small... They've both only been playing for a small amount of time, right?
I don't know, actually. I've just recently discovered them myself, but I haven't checked to see how long they've been playing before that. So, who do we have in the bottom right?
What name does Schmuck go by?
That's Moistchipxx. Moistchipxx.
Like a shortening she likes?
I think we can go by her real life name, Irene.
Okay, we'll go with Irene. So Irene, we have here in the bottom right, spawning as our red Protoss.
She is prepared for an early expand by having
she's going for the early expand.
Pylon on the low ground and a wall off. And Lee has her expansion done already, or started already, and just started the spawning pool. So that's hatch gas pool, which I believe is very standard. But I will ask you now because you're a GM or previous GM Zerg. So.
GM. Yeah, definitely hatch gas pool right there. You can tell because the gas is done before the pool, and she'll mine like about 80 or 100 gas depending on how she did it before the pool finishes, and so you can get speed pretty quickly. We had the Nexus after the Cyber, so even though there was the Scout, it wasn't like Gate Nexus, it was Gate Cyber Nexus. So we see that Irene's being pretty safe, or maybe she has a plan of getting fast Warp Gate or a fast Stargate. I would guess a fast Stargate since we're on Romanticide and it's such a big map.
Warp Gate has started. She is chronoing out her first Adept.
Yeah, Warp Gate is up, so now it makes me wonder if she's going to do an Adept pressure.
Or perhaps she just anticipates the early pressure, or what I think is early pressure from Lee, because she has not that many Zerglings coming out, but when she faced Chibi in the group stage, or semifinals, she did go for a lot of links after the same opening.
Okay, so we do see a Stargate, even though there was the Warp Gate. I've been seeing this from a few Protosses. They don't do the Stargate tell, where they delay Warp Gate, which means their Stargate's a bit later, but if they open up Void Ray and not Oracle, it's okay. Like, like they're not really going for the fastest Void Ray in the world. So this being Romanticide map, I think it makes sense that she's going with Void Ray opening.
And we're getting double Queen production from, or continued Queen production from Lee. Is that something you usually do?
Sorry, sorry, what did you ask?
The dual Queens per base this early on.
Let me look at the supply. Yeah. Usually against... Oh, wow. She might be doing a Nidus. Yeah, usually against Protoss, you want to get up to 6 queens pretty fast. You get your 3rd queen at 32 supply, and then a 4th queen at 38. Because LeeFunn's going for the lair, she needs to get the 2nd queen out in her main a bit earlier so she can start the lair. But especially if you're going to go for this 2 base 4 gas potential Nidus, then you want queens to have energy to bring them with you into the Nidus, or you just want them out for base defense earlier.
Okay. So she has a few overlords going out scout, and I don't think there's anything to shoot them down right now, and the Stargate is rallied away from the main, so Um, yeah, there we have it. I thought I lost an overlord. And what I was trying to say is there's definitely the possibility of an Nidus, but at the
Ooh, we have
same
the Spire. It's dangerous going 2-base Muta when they could be going to Stargate, but
she
maybe
has
she'll
a
hit a
third
really good
coming down though.
timing.
She does have a third on its way though.
Yeah, she does have the third. It's standard. After you start the Spire, you have a lot of excess minerals because mutas are the same ratio of minerals to gas, so you'll be able to drop an expansion. But it can still be hard to get damage done. However, Irene only has the one Stargate. So if there's no Phoenixes on the way, so she might be able to get a lot of probe damage and then get ahead by that.
So what do we have else in production? We have a second Stargate in production, and we have Starship weapons upgrading as well. So if Lee doesn't attack soon, or get her mutas up quick, Irene should have enough to at least get back in the game kinda quickly.
Yeah, since she has the two Stargates and Phoenixes take like less than 30 seconds to build, especially with Chrono, she'll definitely be able to stabilize. So this is really about how much damage LeeFunnn can do and then get ahead after doing the damage.
Yeah, so we have units moving across the map right now. Finish.
We have the mutas coming. They weren't scouted at all. The Adept didn't see them. The Void Race didn't see them. Of course.
Yeah, and the Adept is going for a Shade Scout. I don't know how much it'll see. It'll see that the third is up.
Yeah.
But I think this is a cue for LeeFunnn to actually enter, because
this is really well done. So she'll also see the Fleet Beacon, which is a bit scary. Since going to mutas is a very early investment, it's hard to find the money to defend against carriers after doing it.
She pops
5 probe kills so far.
And Irene pops the prismatic alignment, which actually only makes Void Rays worse versus mutas, since mutas aren't armored, and the bonus attack is only versus armored, and it does slow them down.
Interestingly enough, she's going into more mutas.
Yeah, so that's not going to help her, especially with the focus on Skytoss from Irene.
Yeah, even more. So she's going mass muta. Irene's not afraid of this. She's not making any Phoenixes. She's sticking with her plan of going from Void Ray and then working her way up to Carrier and going the like full Skytoss route.
Yeah. The only, or not the only good thing, but one good thing is that Corruptors are available, and Lee is also getting +2 weapons herself.
Yeah, the Spire upgrades, those are really nice. She's also getting an Infestation Pit, so we might see Vipers soon. I wonder, with Vipers in the muta, she might be able to make something happen.
Yeah, it comes down to the micro then, I guess. For both players.
So, LeeFunn's Platinum 2, I'm really impressed by like the upgrades that she's getting. She's getting the Zerg melee upgrades to go along with their Zerglings. Like, these are really good complementary upgrades that you don't usually see people get, especially not in Platinum.
Yeah.
The timing of her Infestation Pit was really good as well, like nice and early so you have time to attack.
Okay. So here comes this second entry of the mutas. They make short work of the cannon. However, I think it's time for them to get out of there now.
Yeah, they stay around a little bit too long. They took off the hull damage of that carrier, which didn't really get much done. So she's gonna add some corruptors on now.
But she did get 12 probes for her efforts, and she is way ahead in all supply.
She is, but she does have a lot of Zerglings, so a lot of that supply is there to deny bases, which I mean, maybe she's waiting to deny the 5th, but the 3rd, it seems pretty open to be denied by Zergling Baneling. There's 3 cannons there. With Adrenal, the Zergling should have free reign on that, or I mean, there would be enough for Banelings to roll into it.
True. So the left is path for the next attack, and it's Corruptor Muta, and seems like she's going to use her Zerglings with Banelings along the same path. Kind of would have thought alternate paths for them would be better, sort of to distract, and now she's going into Mass Roach on top of this. Not sure.
Oh, she is. So it seems like she really wants to play base trade.
Perhaps. But she would need to sort of decimate the air army, because even 18 roaches would be made short work of by the air army of Irene.
You know, when you're a Zerg player, there's this thing called panic roaches, and they can happen at any time. Like, any time. So they could. There's always a chance that they're just panic roaches.
He gets 6 more workers, which is not very good for the investment of all those lings and banelings.
There go the panic roaches. It's always such a sad sight. Seeing them sad, seeing them die is sad. They're at the 4th now.
Yeah.
So yeah, it seems like she's trying to do a good multi-pronged attack, and she has a lot of corruptors. The really good thing that's working out in LeeFunn's favor right here is that there's no High Templar with this air army. There's not enough corruptors to do anything, but she kind of still has a chance because there's no supporting army for the air toss. There's no Archons under them, there's no High Templar, there's nothing that would actually keep the air army away. It's just that if she's gonna engage, she really needs to have the Viper skill, the Parasitic Bomb on them.
Yeah. So I guess we'll just have to see. Okay, she taps out. Very, very interesting and exciting. So map number 2 is going to be Jagannatha, and I'm hoping you will sort of entertain the audience with facts about that map while I set everything up.
With banter.
Okay.
I saw a comment on one of Lambo's StarCraft videos where someone said, "Wow, Lambo, you actually pronounced Jagannatha correctly," but I still can't figure out how to pronounce it. I didn't realize I was pronouncing it wrong. So I guess, but Lambo says it right. So I need to like rewatch any of Lambo's Jagannatha videos.
Okay.
Jagan?
I have no idea. I mean, I assume the only one who knows is the one who gave it the name, and like the language of that one, because
yeah, I guess it's biased towards the map creator, right?
You can't just by look at the name say, oh, it's this language or anything like that.
I mean, if it's Icelandic, you can tell it's Icelandic.
Oh yeah, you can, especially if they use their own letters and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But even otherwise. Okay, so everyone is in the lobby. Let's see how.
Well, for Zerg versus Protoss, there's this theory right now where you actually want to expand in a triangle against Protoss, even on this map, instead of expanding horizontally. So we'll see if LeeFunnn does that. It's just that so far it looks like Irene likes Sky Toss, in which case, if there's no early adept play, you would still want to expand horizontally so that the Rays can't bounce around your bases. So we'll have to see which base Irene goes with when she eventually takes a 3rd on this map.
Okay, so we're loading up now, and pretty soon we'll be in the second match. Irene is up 1-0 in this best of 5. And let's see here.
And she's also our blue Protoss in the bottom left.
Yeah, and now this
Making a probe.
now the stream can see it. I was a bit late on switching the scenes. So finishing that, and we're going up to the top right corner where we have the red Zerg LeeFunnn, who has stopped probe production or drone production to get what seems like not an early expand.
So what she was doing, what you do is you send on your drone a little early, around like 160 minerals, and then you send it out of your natural, and if there's a probe on the way to block it, that means you can still get your your natural at your third at a reasonable time.
Oh.
And if there's no probe coming, then you just turn around and you take your natural.
Okay. Interesting.
But yeah, it looked like she was gonna go take a secret base or something, right?
Yeah, I was even thinking proxy hatch or something silly like that.
And then she's also going for hatch gas pool again, so super standard opening.
Yeah. Wait a minute, she has no Overlord coming in. Yes, now she does. That's a bit late, I guess. Will she be supply block?
Yeah, actually you're right. That was a really early hatch. So this might be, I guess this is like a 14 pool or maybe even earlier. It looks like the Scarlet build, but in reverse. So in ZVZ, Scarlet has this build where you go 14 gas, 13 pool, and then 12 hatch, and you have lings out really early with speed. But this is a build that's hatch gas pool, but you still have the lings out pretty early, so it looks like we're going to see a really heavy ling flood.
Yeah, 10 of them building already, and ling speed started. Let's see what we have in Irene's base. She has a wall started, but it's definitely not finished, and she needs to get some buildings up soon, because the Zerglings have hatched, and how many are there now? There are 10? With 6 more on the way, 8 more on the...
And she never made her second pylon, so she can't get a single unit out. She can't get an adept out. She doesn't have a second gateway.
Yeah,
once that pylon gets taken down, yeah, if Irene just goes straight to that base and kills that pylon, I think she'll even be confused. She'll think that the adept's going to be out soon, but it's not. It's not even halfway there, whereas it should have been out by now. Yeah, so she doesn't know that that adept's been delayed and that she could just take down that pylon. She thinks that the adept's gonna come out and that she needs to get away from it.
Oh yeah, I got the people wrong as I said. But can
if she had
Irene
taken out
defend
that
this?
pylon, it would have been over, but it still might be over anyway since her speed is about to finish in 1 second, and it's done.
Yeah. So I really don't see Irene defending this. There's way too many Zerglings in the base already. 23 up. The quick equalizer.
Quick game to tie it 1-1.
Alright. There we go, and we'll get ready for the next map, which is 2000 atmospheres, and one of the new maps.
In chat, LeeFunnn said, "Please forgive me, T_T."
She has pulled out quite a few cheeky plays in this tournament. 3, 4. Okay, so do you want to introduce the Protoss or the Zerg this game?
I'll do Zerg this game, winning the last game with a 14-14-14 Ling Flood. We have LeeFunnn spawning in the top right, our red Zerg, who feels very bad about doing that too.
Well, it's all about the winning in the end, actually. So, and in the bottom left, we have our blue Protoss Irene, or Moistchipxx, and she has her pylon on the low ground, getting ready for a wall and an early expansion. And in the top, we have... Did we have 2 gas? No, it's just the 1 gas. I thought I saw 2 in the production tab.
Yeah, but it's gas pool, so... Is this because LeeFunnn doesn't want to get cannon rushed? Or Were her apologies for doing a Ling flood just part of her plan so that we don't suspect another Ling flood coming out of her?
It might be.
Is the drone going down here? Yeah, the drone's going down here for a hatch.
But that might be a trick.
Okay, not a trick yet. Irene definitely being tipped off by the gas pool with no hatch just yet, so she's actually forgoing her nexus for a bit, and doing an early wall off, getting a forge as well, so that she does have cannons in preparation.
But the hatch hasn't been cancelled. I was expecting it to be like, as soon as it gets scouted and the probe leaves, I'll cancel it or something.
It seems like this might be Banelings, but this isn't a great map to do a Baneling bust on, so there's a nice short rush distance, the 35-second rush distance. However, the thing is that Protoss can wall off on this map with 3 buildings, and there's no pylon in their wall, so Banelings won't really get through it. Yeah, we have the Baneling nest going down now, which is at a really good time, so it finishes right when the pool finishes. But again, I don't see her
And she
getting
hides.
past.
No, but that's definitely what she's doing, and she's hiding the Zerglings. I'm not sure she succeeded in that because they had to walk past the probe that was at the natural.
It's okay. Once they go back into Fog of War, they stop existing.
Oh,
Well,
so what you don't know doesn't hurt you. So if I don't see the Zerglings attacking me, they won't be able to hurt me, right?
yeah, it's why when I attack into Protoss, I just keep the camera centered on my army, so I can't see all of the Protoss army. The Lings are coming down now. The speed's about to finish. There's one cannon of. I worry that that'll be enough to hold them off.
And an adept, so 2 Lings lost, and they fly so high. Since this is supposed to since this map has underwater mechanics, so I'm not sure it's supposed to be.
Yeah. So when units die, they like fly upwards, right?
Yeah. Okay, so how many Banelings do we have here? Is it 8 or 9? 8 Banelings.
We have 8 Banelings. Forges have 800 health, so 8 Banelings isn't enough because they deal 80 damage to structures.
So the Lings will have to do some work, and we do have both the cannon and 2 adepts here. The forge will go down if.
And the Lings can get a surround, and there was no shield battery. It's just like, I don't know if it's really enough, and the Void Ray is definitely going to clean up afterwards.
Okay, so, but she hasn't given up yet. She's in for the second round, and Irene hasn't started attacking the Banelings yet. New structure on the way, but now we have only the Adept as the gatekeeper, since we have an opening in the...
Oh, poor Adept wants none of that.
Unfortunately, the Banelings were on aim route, so they didn't walk past the building. But now they're in the main as well, but...
Yeah, LeeFunn's gonna look for some probe damage in the main, but, you know, there's 2 fully saturated nexuses here. I don't know that much is gonna get done.
Yeah, and she hasn't... she basically hasn't started saturating her natural, so... She probably needs to go to plan B or something.
Really good hole coming out of Irene for sure.
Definitely.
We have a lair coming up for our Zerg, but I have a feeling that it's gonna get picked off by these Void Rays. I can envision Irene coming with 3 Void Rays and wreaking havoc. Irene coming to LeeFunn's base and yeah, just sniping all of the bases.
Yeah, so there's only 1 queen as well, so the anti-air is very limited. Is there there's a second queen coming now. And no other anti-air. So where are the Void Rays? The Void Rays are basically guarding, and Irene is going on the Artosis mantra of if you're ahead, get more ahead. So she's taking her 3rd, and...
I thought that was Day 9's mantra. Is that Artosis?
Oh. It might be Day 9. I think it is Artosis though, I'm not sure.
Okay, we may never know. Oh, Nidus coming up, which is really the only way for LeeFunnn to get back into the game at this point. Maybe she'll bring some drones to make spores in her base?
That would definitely help, and
the Overlord that's outside of Irene's base, her main, to the top of it, right by that shark. It hasn't been spotted yet, so at the very least, the Nidus will get up, and a probe pull's not enough to kill a Nidus. The boys aren't in position to get the Nidus either.
So what do we have? We have 2 cannons around the main though, so the attacking units may be distracted a while before actually doing damage. And this is a lucky scout. Oh, did she hear it or did she?
No, it was barely in vision.
Oh.
So usually here you want to load your queens into the Nidus first so that immediately once they come out they can transfuse the Nidus. She would have been able to get 1 transfuse off, but I actually don't know if her queens even have transfuse energy because she didn't have them for very long.
No, and she has used at least 1 for inject.
Yeah. So it was really close to getting up, but since the Lings were front loaded and queens weren't loaded into the Nidus, they didn't really stand a chance anyways. It would have gone in sniped eventually.
So now all those Lings are going on the tour of attacking basically whatever she can find that isn't protected, I believe.
Yeah, but even the third is so well defended right now. There's no shield batteries, but there are 4 cannons. Will the Lings make their way into the natural, so we'll see if they get cleaned up in a reasonable amount of time. They might get a lot of pro kills.
Yeah, she sent some to the third, but not enough to overpower the cannons. So 4 probes going down, that's not enough quite yet.
No,
and the Lings
not.
are attacking the cannons, which isn't what they're here for. They're here for work kills.
I mean, it was a good Ling rush. I just think this is not the map for it, since Protoss can wall off with 3 structures. So Irene made a really good call not having a pylon in her wall, and that was really kind of the fall of LeeFunnn for this game.
Yeah. So I don't know how many Lings were lost there, but I'm guessing around 50-60 Lings, and they killed 10 probes. Not really enough. So Lee's got a lot of digging to do to get herself out of this hole.
Going into Hydra, I mean, the carriers are already out, so the Hydras are going to have a hard time without any armor living against the Interceptors.
Yeah. So at this point, I assume you, like I said about Chibi in her last game, that you basically want to be as greedy as you possibly can here and just hope that you don't get attacked soon.
Yeah.
Because the army supply is 52 to 30, and the worker supply is 55 to 40, so you need to catch up on one of them.
The difference is just
that too
immeasurable. Except not, because we could measure it, but we're not gonna.
And Irene is also taking a 4th.
Yeah, she's adding on the queens too. Like, Queen Hydra is really good against Void Rays, but it doesn't last against carriers unless there's only 3 carriers. And we're gonna see more carriers in just a couple seconds.
How many are there right now? There are 4 already.
Now there's 4, and we almost have 5.
Yeah.
We also have a 4th base starting for Irene. We don't have a scout on that. Theoretically, it could be denied since the whole air army is just hanging out at the natural. But I don't think the Hydras have speed. No, the Hydras don't have speed yet. It would be hard, even with the Nidus, to get in and get out.
Yeah.
It's just a bit late for that.
So, well, Lee is getting closer in worker count, but still behind, so...
You know, what could work in her favor is still that Irene doesn't have the supporting army for this Sky obliteration force. There's no High Templars, there's no Archons, there's nothing that would hurt carriers with AoE attacking into it. but instead we have a ton of Hydras. She could have, you know what LeeFunnn could have done is skip the Hydras and then actually really turtle with spores, and the queens that she has while going straight into Corruptors. However, these Hydras, they're kind of like wasted energy against Skytoss. You really only get these Hydras if they have an army, like a ground army that could come attack you with the Sky Army so that you can hold on for long enough to get the Corruptors out.
Oh. One thing I realized quite recently is that the Infestors don't have Infested Terrans anymore. Was that from the beginning of Legacy of the Void, or is that something a bit more recent at least?
So the last season that I played Zerg was like the first season of Legacy of the Void, and they had Infested Terrans, and then I came back a couple months ago and the Infested Terrans weren't there. So they always get removed, come back, get removed, come back. I feel like they're gone for good this time though.
Yeah, I believe so too. And
they also nerfed Neural for the 50th time.
Okay.
Louis just complained about Neural being removed over Irene's win really fast. Again, Neural's like nerfed again. Anyways, scratch Irene.
Yeah, so that went really well, and we're at match point of this entire tournament.
Yeah, we have the Protoss, Irene taking up her lead with 2-1. It was a really good Ling Flood coming out of LeeFunnn. Just not the best map for it, since that natural choke is so small you can wall it off with 3 buildings without a need for a unit to fill in any gaps or a pylon to fill in any gaps.
So, our next map is Lightshade. Who do you want to present?
Okay, so I'll do spawning in the bottom right. We have the funnier half of Hearthstone, Irene, with her little probes that may or may not go into Stargate again.
Okay, and in the top left, we have the surprise of the tournament actually, LeeFunnn. She was considered the underdog, and she has taken one map off Irene, and she kind of bulldozed Phoebe in match number 1 with very, very early aggression.
Yeah, it would be sick if we saw some like Blink Stalker, Colossus move outs, especially on this map, where once you get into the high ground of your opponents, it gets really choky. But definitely like the meta right now against Zerg is Void Ray, so you know I'd be okay if Irene kept going into Void Ray against Zerg. It's definitely been working out for her.
I feel like the meta against anything is Void Ray for Protoss currently, and I don't play Void Ray myself.
Yeah, there's a few people that don't really go into Void Ray too much.
Okay, so the pool isn't as early as it has been in the last 2 games, so and the hatch is, so we might actually, or the hatch is what I believe to be kind of standard.
Yeah, and also from Irene, we see Gate Nexus. So this isn't Gate Cyber Nexus, we see Gate Nexus, a bit more of an eco start. She remembers her second pylon this game. Alright, no block this time for the Adepts. And then we go into the Cyber. So they're both playing like really good standard macro builds.
Mm-hmm. So, can we see a tech choice soon? No, we need to finish the Cyber Core and at least the spawning pool, but...
Well, because of Irene's placement for the second pylon, the Overlord will be able to see the tech choice. Since she got the earlier Nexus, whether it's Nexus First or Gate Nexus, you only have 2 pylons for a little bit of time. So the tech will have to be made there in the natural, and this Overlord at the natural will be able to see it, so it'll definitely work out in LeeFunn's favor.
So we're at like 6 or 10 maybe even Zerglings, so there's definitely some aggression coming. And as per usual, Lee hides her Zerglings behind her mineral lines so that any sort of half-baked scouting won't see them. And
yeah, she even injects with a natural queen instead of laying on a creep tumor, so this is a lot of Zerglings that are about to come up, and there's no third base on the way.
But is this a full wall? No, it's an ordinary wall. Do we have...
It looks like it is a full wall.
Okay. Yeah. It might very well be. No, it isn't.
Oh, there, yeah, because I was like, but that's not... Oh. But we have the shield battery in time, so these probes will live forever.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
to get the
diagonal,
pylon.
so that's how you can tell it's not a full wall.
But anyways, this wall will probably hold, so all she needs to do now is clean up the final Zerglings.
She's microing back her probes. So far, no probes in the main went down. They're all saved. All these little buddies. Wow.
Yeah, so 10 Zerglings to 0 probes. But there are quite a few Zerglings coming now, so I don't know. Did Irene start anything else from the Stargate, or was it Oracle from the beginning? Because otherwise she cancelled what she did for the Oracle.
I swear she was making a Void Ray, but I could be wrong. Maybe she wasn't making anything.
Well, otherwise she definitely changed her priorities, or her.
It's definitely a good call going for the Oracle, because the Oracles can clean up Lings, but they can also immediately apply pressure so that there's no way LeeFunnn can get back into the game. Especially since she did this early flood, she's not gonna have as much money for spores, and she actually has 0 spores up right now. The Oracle is gonna look for the Lings instead of going across the map. She's gonna see that there's not really, that many to worry about, so maybe she'll make the decision to go to the main.
Yeah. I wonder why Lee is sort of marking the Oracle with the Lings.
Okay, she's gonna use the energy on the Lings. She wants, she wants to be safe. She wants to make sure that
she wants to open up her wall as well, so...
Yeah, true.
So for that reason she wants to get rid of the Lings. But that gives Lee a chance to catch up economically, I guess. Since she has her third almost finished. And
yeah, we do see a probe moving out. Probably gonna take a third of its own. We don't have extra probes though. There's no like probe production going on right now for a probe transfer to a third.
Really?
Oh, it's because we're cutting money for a second Stargate.
Which is okay, it's there. And Lee also has spores in both main and natural mineral lines, so she's at least somewhat protected.
She is, but I'm not sure that Oracle's actually gonna go to her base. I think it's gonna stay at the third in case the Lings come back.
Yeah. And the Void Rays, they're spread out to sort of scout, I guess? Or was it just one Void Ray, which is kind of awkwardly to the west of her base?
Yeah, I guess it's looking for a Nidus, maybe. It didn't go all
and
the way
there
around
is
the
an
base.
Overlord there, so... Well, these
We have
3
some
adepts are
adepts,
so lucky.
We have the 3 adept pressure, which Protosses do sometimes while taking a third, because, like Zerg will see Protoss expanding, they'll think that they have free reign to expand, and then all of a sudden you have these adepts in your base. Yeah, exactly this is what happens. You send your Lings to their third, and then you have nothing at home for the adepts. These adepts could kill a lot of drones if they wanted to, but they're focusing on the queen.
And that would be alright if there was only one queen. But since there are more than one, that didn't work. And there are quite a few queens. There are 2 at the natural as well as 4 in the main, and one more coming in the third.
She still could have gotten a lot of drone kills though if she had gone behind the mineral patches and focused drones. Queens take a while to kill adepts. They can kill a lot, like 2 adepts will one-shot a drone, and so they can get a lot of drone kills before the queens chase them out.
Yeah. But that also requires attention. As soon as you leave them unattended, they'll aggro on the queens. Well, maybe not a lot of attention, but it's not a fire and forget sort of thing.
Apparently Irene's name means jewelry in German.
Oh.
And this whole time I was reading her name like schmuck.
Oh, right, it does.
I didn't realize it was actually... Maybe it might be a play on words like that. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's see here, what's happening now? We have sort of... what do you call it? Not a standoff.
Not a what?
Not a standoff, but when things quiet down.
Oh, like a Mexican standoff?
No,
yeah, yeah, not like that, yeah. Yeah, I mean, they're both focusing on their macro. Irene's probing up her third. Buildings are like coming by looking for probes that are going from the second to the natural. Not really finding any picks there because the void rays are split between the natural and the third, so they're not really going to get much damage there. But we have some creep spread coming out, a lot of really good queens. I wonder if there's going to be a queen hydra pull. It seems like that's going to be the play coming out of LeeFunnn.
Yeah, so we have
She
the
has
hydra
the queens
range,
for it. Yeah.
and
There's
I
only
didn't.
one shield battery at the natural. There's one carrier out, but honestly, by the time the hydras and queens get across the map, there's going to be at least 3 carriers. So this is
Yeah,
another
there's
lurkers.
and she has 3 Stargates worth of production now. So even though the carriers are really slow, that will be kind of fast. And Lee is about to get
shield
supply
batteries
blocked,
at the third.
but only very shortly because she has 5 more. No batteries at the third? No, she only has.
No, there's 4 cannons with no batteries, and there's no ground units to help against these hydras. So she's still gonna find herself in a hard position if she doesn't get to Raptors eventually.
Yeah. So the hydras are currently making short work of the cannons, 2 down, 2 to go. And the air army still has quite a bit to go. But Hydra speed isn't ready, so she won't be able to outrun the air army once it arrives, I think.
I think if she pulled them now... Oh, you know what? She might get right on top of those carriers. Oh, this is unexpected. If she focused...
Oh. Just as you said that.
Hydras they're very squishy, okay. If she had pulled the queens, she might have been able to fire the carriers while out of leash range. Like, it might have been good, but she would have needed all her queens, like 9 queens with all of their full energy.
So now she has about half the army she would have wished against this air toss, but since the sky toss isn't together, he could...
Yes, there's only 2 carriers. Now 3. But if the carriers are left unchecked with their interceptors, the hydras will fall. The hydras, they have to jump on top of the carriers if they want to get anything done.
Yeah, so is there a time when the hydras would prefer to sort of drain all the interceptors rather than get the carriers?
That's only if you have your armor upgrades, and I guess if you have microbial or you have like spores to tank some of the interceptors, because spores are really tanky and good at that. And yeah, that's when like they're out of range, and you can actually tank them with your hydras. So you have armor upgrades.
Yeah.
You can't really
And that's it. LeeFunnn taps out, and we have our winner.
Wow, nice.
So while we wait for them, I haven't had a chance to thank you yet for doing this with me and joining and helping out, both with actually casting, but also with some of the decision making and preparations before the tournament. I feel like I would have been even more lost than I am now if it hadn't been for you. So thank you very much.
I am but a small ferret. Thanks for having me.
And well, you could also do some self-promotion while we wait for these two. So social media, what you have, what sort of events or things you have planned in the near future and stuff like that.
Well, sometimes I host or cast things, but I also stream every day, so those one's consistent and one's not. Someone can link my channel somewhere, anywhere.
Right, I forgot to add a command for that.
Hello.
Hello, Irene. Congratulations. You are the SpaceDucK Invitationals first ever champion.
Yeah.
So we'll start by talking the first map, which I've actually almost forgotten now. Let's see.
Can I ask One question really fast.
Of course.
Irene, do you think that Hearthstone or Max Pax is a better Protoss?
I'm probably gonna be biased and say Hearthstone's a better time.
That's my question.
So I had to check. The first map was Romanticide, and let's see here what happened there. I don't. Actually, I've forgotten the entire map.
Yeah, I tend to forget all my games after I play them. Like, I was super, super nervous for everything.
So So we'll move on from that one. We moved to map number 2, which was I don't know which map it was, but I do know the strategy. It was Jagannatha.
Yeah.
Well, actually, for map 1, you went Gate Cyber Nexus. Do you just always do that on that map, or were you like, did you want your Stargate out faster?
No, that was a mistake. For some reason, I don't know, I'm very, like, when I'm nervous, I kind of build whatever comes into my mind. Like, I should have been Cyber Nexus, but yeah.
Okay.
So that was a pretty quick game, if I don't misrecall.
That one, Lee completely dominated, so I think she should probably talk about that one.
Oh, yeah, that was the second map, which was...
That was no, not 2000. What was the second
Jagannatha.
map? Jagannatha? Yeah, Jagannatha.
So, early Ling, was it pinned?
It was
Yeah, it was the 14, 14, 14.
So, Lee, do you want to comment on that? How did you feel just busting through and killing basically every worker in seconds?
It was terrifying. I was very unsure if it was gonna work, and I accidentally rallied my lings back to my base for a second, and I was like, oh no, oh no. But I very, very luckily got back in on time.
All right.
Did you notice that the Adept was a little bit delayed when you were attacking?
No, I did not.
No, so Irene got a bit supply blocked there.
Oh, that's all right. It happens to the best of us.
Yeah, I forgot my second pylon, so I was like, oh no. When I saw your links come in, I was like, ah, bad news.
I just got lucky then. Oh.
No. That was a lot of links.
Yeah, I think that would have worked either way. So, before I start forgetting, we'll just try to get to the new maps or further on. So, 2000 atmospheres. You tried to go very offensive early on with the Baneling Bust. You had a bit of trouble getting through the wall since there was no pylon as a key part of it. But finally made it through. Did you... I don't know where I'm going with this question. So.
Did you think that there would be a pylon in the wall? Like, did you have a plan for if there are only buildings in the wall?
Sorta, not really. I learned that for the Terran games.
Yeah.
And I hadn't really like tried it against Toss. So I was just kind of giving it a go since we were even. And my Ling micro in general is just really bad.
I find that the times where I try to Baneling bust Protoss are the only times they have a full wall off early on in game. That is the only time. Otherwise, they have like no adapt, fucking like 5 pylons in their wall.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think in that game I also walled kind of funky. Like, I thought it was a full wall, and then I saw your links come in, I was like, oh, it's not a full wall. I repeat, it's not a full wall.
Yeah, I was so surprised by that too. I was like, wait a minute, oh!
I think that was the
But
final
then you had all
game,
those
though.
cannons too, I think too. So I was, yeah.
So the not full wall, that was the final game, where the Stargate didn't actually cover it all the way to the end.
Yes. I feel like all my walls in every single game were very weird. Like, I have to really practice walling.
And walling is so hard. I don't blame you.
Like I know for my games against Lee, it was more like if I can hold all, because she was super aggressive. Like I don't think you understand. Like if you could see me playing the game, I was like I was like sweating. I was like, this is the end. This is where we go adios. So I was like, if I hold, then I can win. That's what I was thinking.
Oh my god, you're so good at holding though, and like pulling yourself back. It's like so awesome to watch you stream. Oh.
Oh.
Okay, I should have more questions, but I'm actually totally beat and can't think of anything.
Did both of you guys prepare for these games? Like, did you watch each other's streams or take down notes or anything?
Well,
go first.
You go first. No, you go first.
Well, I'm a big fan of Lee, but like her time for her streaming doesn't like work too well with my time. But this I wasn't expecting. I thought she was gonna, play some lurkers, we're gonna have a little bit of fun, but no, it was just constant aggression. Bam, 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 bam.
Yeah, someone told me that that's how I should be playing, and I was like, but I like being home.
It was so good though. It was so good.
Oh, I appreciate you saying that, but you did so well. My Ling micro is.
I think I cheated though. No? I went mass carriers.
Well, that's not cheating. That's a tactic. You did it. It's so good.
As you know, making carriers is a very good skill to have.
Yeah, for sure.
You want it in your arsenal.
Even the round that I did have the Spire, like I just didn't have enough corruptors because I didn't scout that you had carriers soon enough. So like it was such a good game. So good.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun. I really did.
Me too.
Did you guys think that you would make it to the finals?
No. Oh my god, no. No.
We were actually joking about this like a week ago. We're like, see you in the losers.
Well, I'm very happy for you that it turned out you were wrong about that part. Even though I would have been equally happy were the other players had they turned up in the finals. So I'm about to end the stream pretty soon, but before I do that, I want some self-promotion from each and every one of you, and starting from the both of you. Starting with Irene, as you won.
Yeah.
Where can people find you, and do you have anything coming up that you want to share?
Well, you can find me on Moistchipxx, 2 X's, on my Twitch, and then Irene_Björn for Instagram and Twitter. But other than that, I just want to say thanks for everyone who's been watching and who's been cheering for everybody. It's been a great tournament.
Thank you. Lee?
Oh, yeah, my Twitch handle is LeeFunnn with 3 N's. That's pretty much all I have. But yeah, thank you so much for everyone watching and for my coaches for dealing with my anxiety. And congratulations to Irene! Yay!
Okay, so
congrats to both of you. You both played so well. I can't believe it watching these games.
Yeah, it was really exciting. It was nerve-wracking actually. So all we have left to do is final words from Caitlin.
But yeah, thanks also for creating this tournament. This was so awesome. It seems like everyone put in so much effort into the game as well, and I really hope that this strengthens contacts between female players. It seems like a lot of people were already friends, but definitely everyone could make really good practice partners. I know that my main coach for StarCraft, she's female, and then I also look up to Scarlett a lot, and I always got advice from Scarlett, but it's really hard to find like women to learn from in StarCraft. So I think that this will be a really good catalyst for that. And then on top of that, these games were really, really exciting. Like, they were really good. I think part of that was because the players practiced for them and took them so seriously. So, like, I can't wait for the next tournament.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's not definite yet, but I really do think there will be a season 2 or a second installment, or perhaps even a season 2, depending on what my contacts and me can figure out together.
Yeah, that'd be super sick.